Yeah.
I believe that we have demonized losing when losing is the best. Like for me, it was school was telling me I was going to be a failure. So you have grown-ups left and right, friends, parents, and teachers. You will be a garbage. I mean, the favorite thing back in the 80s, you're going to be a garbage man. Big shout out to the garbage men and women, first of all. But that was the cliche thing in 84 to 87. Like, I can't wait to be, like, I'm going to be garbage. Like they just really, it was only college. It was only grades. So that, and then I competed 24/7. I was always competing. And when you compete all the time, you're losing a lot. And I cried. I cried from 6 to 12 every time I lost in anything. Video games, checkers, Uno, football, because I hated the feeling. But the layers of skin that I have, you know, and that makes sense to me about you. You can't be out there at the level we're out there if you don't have that stomach. You won't do it. You won't put yourself, we all now can. Everybody can put themselves out there. People won't do it if they don't have that layer of skin. And I agree with you, like, and it's a tough challenge, but we have to get kids to like get comfortable with losing.
Yeah, get comfortable with discomfort. Even if it's not losing yet, just getting comfortable with discomfort.
And we've really gone the other way, especially if there's money. If the family has a couple bucks, it's been completely eliminated.
Yeah.
Parents are going to school fighting for their kids. Like, my kid should have got an A. Like, we're doing too much. And then they're 22 and they have to live life. And they go into the workplace and they're like, I should be the VP of this company, Gary. I'm like, you've been here 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm like, start your own company. You know what I mean? Like,
have you found clever ways with your daughter to be able to do things like that? Like, have you found?
Yes, I'm hacking all the time with my two kids.
Yeah, how do you encourage losing?
Competition.
How do you do that with kids? Give me because I'm not a parent yet.
Beat them.
Oh.
Beat them in everything.
My dad used to do that to me.
I wish AJ was here. Like, AJ, my mom used to get so mad at me because we were siblings, not it's your child, and I'm 11 years older. So we're playing one-on-one basketball. I'm 18, he's 7, and I am beating him for a couple of reasons. 1, I believed it. 2, I didn't want to lose. 3, I always knew when it happened, I'm like, one day he's gonna be 17. And I'm gonna be, 28, and he's gonna beat me. He's gonna be, and like, I needed to get my wins on the board because, I think beating them. I think talking about adversity, explaining non-conformant, leaning in, and so that's how.
Yeah, I like that. And my dad was like that. It was really interesting because I think men and women react differently to that. But as a guy, like, my dad was like that. He would never pass. He would get in front of an open goal, soccer I'm talking about. Yeah. Get in front of an open goal. He could pass to me for his son to score and he'd go and score. We'd be playing father and son soccer.
And honestly, I've been thinking a lot because I'm so soft skilled.
Yeah.
There's so many moms I know that were like, we'll never let, like, the dad is, I'm thinking about one couple right now where it's like, I just think it's a DNA trait. It's a culture trait. But I think competition and losing and adversity need to be championed 0 to 12 when they've been completely taken out of the equation.
Yeah.
And I believe the entitlement and the pain is a direct correlation. I really do.
Yeah.
I really do.
What I got out of that was that it helped me become my own man because 100%. I didn't have my dad passing me the ball. I didn't have my dad passing it on. And so for me, it gave me no framework to have to force myself
I took that to the
into.
extreme. By the time I was 18 or 19, this is really, I think my dad's about to start consuming my content, so I'm going to tread lightly here. But Dad, if you're listening, at 18 or 19, I became equally as important to the business. And by 22, I was much more important in the business. And so, like, I took it to the extreme, right? Like, the responsibility, the putting it on your own 2 feet, like, we need a lot more of that.
Yeah.
No parent is doing their kid a favor by putting training wheels on their life. I'm so grateful that I don't give a crap what anybody thinks of me while equally caring. It's incredibly important to me what India or D-Rock or Stefan think of me. It's incredibly important. It's stunning though how anti-establishment or how much I would push back when they would try to impose their will on me. And that's a very important differentiation. Actually, that's one of the first times I've ever kind of articulated this way, and I like this. There's a very big difference between what one thinks of you and what one tries to do by imposing their way on you. I'm very open, empathetic, and quite self-aware of what everybody thinks of me and pander to it, react to it, and adjust to it. But for somebody to try to impose their way on me without knowing me is just super not interesting. And so, I was able to navigate through junior high and high school and really not struggle with peer pressure. I just very honestly thought I was better than everybody. I didn't act that way. If you go find all the kids that went to high school with me, I don't think any of them say that I walked around with like I was cooler than them. You know, that would have been very hard as a 4'11" freshman that was being made fun of for not being 5 foot. It's how I thought inside, and I think if there's a lot of intestinal fortitude, to use a Gorilla Monsoon term, that's when wrestlers would get beat up, but then they would fight, like the Hulkster and Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior. That was the whole kind of like genre of the 80s, get beat the crap out of it, and then all of a sudden. And so that's kind of how I am. Like I can take a lot, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, fight back. And so, you know, there's nothing I can say other than, when you're 15 now, when you're 51 or when you're 91, you're gonna be stunned how little you care, how little it mattered. And this includes your parents and your siblings and even your children. This is an intense thing. This is a very intense thing. But if I could wish anything besides health on people, there's a lot. I say this saying a lot. There's a lot of traits I like, self-awareness, everything. But man, there's unbelievable happiness that comes along with self-belief and recognizing how this plays out. And let me tell you how it plays out. Prince, as he was taking his last breath, and it's a big shout out to Prince, I'm a huge fan. I don't think Prince cared what Billboard magazine said or what anybody said. It's just the way it is. It's the way it is. And so if through this plea on this show on 201 on a Monday in late spring, if I could get 4 of you to understand, it's just not gonna matter when people, I mean, I love when people, I don't even know what else to tell you. I'm gonna say it very clear. Let Stefan get very focused here because I wanna really deliver this with all the drama that it deserves. And I like when people put me down. I get off on when people put me down. Nothing is more interesting to me than to prove all of you wrong. I love the people that think I'm a huckster or I've got some hidden agenda or I'm not that good or I won't be that great or I think too big of myself or my dad had a liquor store and that's the only reason I'm successful or I got lucky or show me, like please continue to judge me and underestimate me because it's the only driver I have and that's how I'm wired. And I don't expect all of you to be wired that way, but if I can, through my energy, move any of you, and trust me, I'm reading your comments because your comments are my oxygen, and I see so many of you, so many comments over the last 3 or 4 months of people saying, I've got a little more cockiness or confidence than I used to. As a matter of fact, I see it in you guys. I truly see my inner circle have more confidence when they're like, it just rubs off. I want to remind people, you're in control.
Yeah.
It's incredibly important and appropriate, and I appreciate, especially being very cordial for people to ask and things of that nature, but I want to remind people they're in control.
Yeah.
I want to provide value and put out things in my professional career. I'm incredibly private and feel that the world is entitled to what you give it. So when I watch people get upset when people get into their business, I'm like, you're giving them your business. By the way, you're leveraging your business. I don't want to leverage nor give my personal life to the world. I don't think that's the right way, by the way. I just think it's my way. So the reason I have a little bit to what you're referring to is it became not sustainable because it's been a long time and like I was in a transit, like it was the appropriate time. And I needed to just get some context out there, but it's not where I'm gonna go.
And that's what I was more interested by. To me, it's not.
Listen, us being together, my brain goes into maximize the value at the highest levels because we have the opportunity to for as many people are listening. The takeaway there from my perspective is you're in control. You have a learning disability and you want to share it, mazel tov. You don't, great. It took me back to something less serious. It took me 15 years of public life to say I'm not candorous. And it's hurt me in my personal life and it's hurt me in my business life. You get to share what you want to share. And I think people should be careful of what they share. You share your abs as like you're a good shaped dude, people are gonna talk about your body for the rest of your life. Like you did that. You're gonna show your kid all the time, they're gonna talk about that. Relationship, they're gonna talk. You're giving the world permission. I prefer not to give the world permission because that's a sacred place for me. even look at my mom. She, like, the greatest gift I could give to the world is my mom to the world. The greatest. She's alpha me. She's more experienced. She's a different perspective. As a mom, she doesn't want it. The end, right? I thought my dad and mom would be reverse. My dad, I never thought would love the limelight so much. But, so I think if you're listening right now, please, if you're not going on social media because you have a skeleton in your closet, you have a disease, you have a bad, situation, you're like me, and like grew up in a family where like personal life is private. That's, I think, in Russia, that was like, people would go to jail if anybody knew anything about you. So I think it ingrained in my parents, which then ingrained in me and my sister and brother, like we're private that way. I think you have to understand you're in control. Facebook and TikTok and podcasts and YouTube don't make you do anything.
Yeah.
They don't make you do anything.
I'm so glad you addressed that, because I think and this is why I brought it up, I think there's been a mask of false vulnerability that's been encouraged because of social media. So people think that the more vulnerable or more open you are, that shows authenticity.
Yeah, I totally disagree. I love you for that. Right? You're going to a very smart place. Yeah. I would argue I see more lack of authenticity in the way that people are leveraging their family and personal life because they know it does well.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too deep because, again, this is what's fun about being candorous in general, but I would never, ever say this to a human being. There's people who are leveraging their children for brand deals. That's something worth thinking about.
Yeah.
like right now, those kids aren't talking about that to you because they don't talk because they're 4 or because they're 16 and not ready to have that combo. But like, I think all of us have to think about things like that.